You're listening to Power Talks with Beth Ann and Melody Cederstrom in the morning, where talk is real, truth is in the talk, and there is absolute power in truth. And Power Talks. Welcome to Power Talks. I'm Beth Ann, and say good morning to my partner, Melody Cederstrom, as we co-host together and empower you with the truth, hopefully. How are you this morning, Melody?
Now, that's not partner in crime, is it?
We can be.
Uh-oh.
We have already confessed. We have not met one another. We've just clicked as she sponsors CSC Talk Radio. And we just kind of clicked and decided to do this little jaunt together this hour of the morning. And we keep learning things about each other, and it's kind of scary. I made the comment a few weeks ago, it's a good thing we don't live very close together. We'd probably get in a lot of trouble.
I think so, too. Which reminds me, and I have received some letters from listeners. And all positive letters. And I want to encourage folks to send them, if you don't have email, to send us an email, and you don't want to call in on the program, you can always jot us a letter and send it to Power Talks at P.O. Box 276, Berlin, Maryland 21811, because it's your feedback. I mean, we want to make sure that we're provided a program that's successful, and your feedback is very important. Whether it's positive or negative, so yes, please, and by letting us know, we'll, help determine whether we continue with this program, because it truly is about you guys. It is the listeners.
It's not because we wanted more work. They're probably thinking, that's work.
Oh, yes. Yesterday
I saw the paper piles.
Yesterday I had 3 shows, 3-hour shows I had to do. So it was a long day.
Yeah, because you did mine. Yeah.
And then we have the 4 o'clock program, Financial Survival, that folks can listen to on shortwave, WWCR, and, of course, the website, dgscoins.com. Just go to the radio page, and it's 4 o'clock Eastern time that we're live. So, and if you want to send us an email, send it to PowerTalks at Yahoo. It's been a long time since we gave
at yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com. PowerTalks at yahoo.com. Go ahead and send us your emails. We do appreciate it. And of course, Beth, the call-in number
is 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. And remember, it is sponsored by Discount Gold and Silver Trading. So we're going to give Melody a little plug. And you can go, she has a newsletter there on her website that is just full of information. dgscoins.com. That's dgscoins.com. The number to call her in the office is 1-800-375-4188. You thought I forgot it, didn't you? I thought I forgot it. 4188. I'll tell you what, I've been concerned about my memory, but I have memorized these phone numbers, and I was just thinking the other day, this is new, so I'm okay. I'm okay. I just need to exercise the brain a little bit more.
There is not, and then we'll move on to some of the topics for today, but there isn't anything that warms my heart more when I get a phone call from someone who has done business with Discount Gold and Silver from the late 90s, and they'll call me and say, you know what, I still remember the phone number, 800-375-4188. And, it's kind of been ingrained because we've been doing this for so long. We've been on, doing radio programs for so long that the memory, so that does warm my heart. And
that is neat.
Isn't that fast? It's just wonderful. So
it is, we could talk about that. That's a whole other topic. I can remember some of the phone numbers when I was a little kid. Mom and Daddy was a piano tutor, and they had a business, and I remember the phone number from that. And it's anyway, that was when they had Fleming 31277. When they had the letters in front of them instead of numbers, and so anyway, what you can remember in your life, and then the things you can't remember whether you did something 2 minutes ago. Did yet, and so.
Well, I think one thing that we're going to remember is the Boy Scouts of America. I think everybody knows the Boy Scouts of America. And they announced yesterday that they will admit girls into the Cub Scouts.
They're going to drop the boy out of Boy Scouts.
And they're going to start next year. They're going to establish a new program for teenage girls, and this marks a historic move. This organization was founded for young men more than a century ago, and citing years of supposed research and feedback from scouts nationwide, officials from the group said that the Cub Scout dens, the smallest unit, will be single gender, either all boys or all girls. Cub Scout packs, which are larger and include a number of dens, will have the option to welcome both genders if they choose. The group's board of directors voted unanimously in favor of these changes. And we've seen a lot of changes to the Boy Scouts. I think back in 2010, they made the changes in which they would accept the executive board began the review, a 2-year review of its policy on gays. 3 years later, as the group faced criticism from lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender right groups, the Boy Scouts formally announced an end to its ban on gay scouts. And shortly thereafter, they did allow to have gay troop masters. And what I found interesting, I don't know where I read it, but the next thing that they're going to do is Zach Walls. He's an Eagle Scout and co-founder of Scouts for Equality, called Wednesday's decision to allow girls into the group a step forward. His group has pressed the Boy Scouts to allow gay and transgender children. He said he still would like to see the group end its ban on atheists and agnostics. And I'm thinking to myself, why can't anyone stop this guy?
On my honor, to do my best for God and my country. That is just, I think I have it. I'm not sure if that's the Boy Scout or the Girl Scout, but they have a pledge, and it is to God, and it is to country. So when we were talking off air, and we mentioned that it was global, it's hard for me to believe because it's Boy Scouts of America. I was a Girl Scout for a while. I wasn't in Brownies. I started in the Girl Scouts and was in through cadets, and I quit whenever we moved. We lived in Kansas City, and we moved to Jamestown, Missouri. We lived in Raytown, Missouri. We moved to Jamestown. That was a culture shock, by the way. Anyway, they already have it for the Girl Scouts. Why do they have to join the Boy Scouts when they have the Girl Scouts? Now, the Girl Scouts has been corrupted. They've got all kinds of crazy people running that now, and they promote feminism rather than teaching the girls about integrity and honor and how to survive in the world, so to speak. I mean, we learned things. Somebody called me on CSE Talk Radio a year or so ago, maybe, and asked me if I knew the etiquette of the flag as far as how to fold the flag and all. I said, yes, I do, because I did that when I was in Girl Scouts, and I do know the proper way to take the flag down and fold it up. But that's just one thing. We did crafts. We did all kinds of stuff. We went on field trips. I didn't go to too many overnights. We didn't do as much of that as my brothers. I have 2 brothers. My 2 older brothers were Eagle Scouts, and they worked hard to get that. I remember being their dummy whenever they were doing their first aid. They had to practice on somebody, and a little sister got to have her sling put in her arm put in a sling and that kind of thing. And it teaches all kinds of prepared. A Boy Scout or a Girl Scout is supposed to be the person who is prepared. And we talk about that. We talk about that with our finances. We talk about that with survival. We've got all kinds of survival companies, that are out here nowadays, and we talk about being prepared, whether it's to make sure you've got extra groceries in the cabinet, or that you keep your candles where you can get to them, or your lighters, or whatever the case may be, your what they call a bug out bag, to be prepared and to know how to survive if there is something going on. And, I don't know why they have to infiltrate when Girl Scouts already have Girl Scouts.
Well, I can understand to the degree, to the point where, girls aren't girly girls anymore. It's not all about learning how to, they want to be more challenged and so forth in the world that we live today. And because there was one girl that was asked, why as a girl do you want to be a Boy Scout? She says, because Girl Scouts don't offer all the programs that the Boy Scouts do. Okay, so change the Girl Scouts.
Well, I don't know what she's referring to.
Well, just
what
like
did they
you
not
said,
offer?
you guys didn't go camping as often as the boys, and
I didn't go camping.
So I mean,
that has
and a
to
lot
do with
of it.
The Troop Master.
They say a lot of it is, the Eagle Scouts. They want to be Eagle Scouts or whatever. So change the girls' program to some degree. Add some more challenging programs that are, included in the boy. I mean, I didn't go down and do a comparison of what the boys is versus the girls, but if that was the complaint, instead of opening the boys to the girls, well, then improve or change within the girls section if they want to be more challenged. And
but when I said I didn't go on as many overnights as my brothers, it was because I didn't go. It wasn't. I mean, I don't think.
Well, I'm just using that as an example.
What they offer is kind of up to the troop master, the troop leader, whoever is your adult in charge. And if they're not offering enough and the girls want to do a little bit more, they need to have a little chat and say, well, we'd like to do this or we'd like to do that. But I mean, I did a lot of the same.
I mean, the badges and the structure in itself
pretty much the same.
Is the same. But I don't know if Girl Scouts can become Eagle Scouts. So
no, they
don't have a program like the Eagle Scouts. Well, then make one.
They have one. It's just not called Eagle Scouts. I did. I can't remember what it's called. I didn't get to that point. Like I said, I was young. I was just 14 when we moved. But I remember doing a lot of the same things to earn my badges that my brothers were doing to earn their badges, as far as first aid and swimming and some of the other things that you had to do. I'm a terrible swimmer, by the way. I don't know if I got a swimming badge, but they did. They had to do life saving to get their Eagle Scout. So they did a lot of swimming and a lot of exercises where they had to save life. And I didn't do that. I did a lot of community service and helped in the church that I was attending. I took care of the nursery and did some cleaning and did things like that to earn a God and Country award. And there was different things that I did. They do have a level, but it's not Eagle Scout level, but they do have a level of that in the Girl Scouts. Now, the Girl Scouts has been taken over, and it's not what it used to be when I was there. But anyway, it's my sister. I used to kid her because she was was it a blueberry? What were they called? Bluebirds. She was a bluebird. I was a Girl Scout. She was a bluebird. But anyway.
We're going to break, and we do have a caller. We have Bill in Colorado. Bill, hold on. We have a short break.
Be patient with us.
Yes, and we'll be right back after these short messages.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
I know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
Have you seen the Left Behind movies? Have you read the Left Behind fictional book series? Not everyone believes Left Behind is true prophecy. Some may even regard as conspiratorial the mainstream re-release of the Left Behind movie with actor Nicolas Cage portraying the main character as an attempt to further reinforce in the minds of all this perception of false prophecy in order to condition the masses for the play about to begin. Because they see the world stage shaping to fulfill what they have been led to believe is sound biblical interpretation, a Left Behind rapture scenario, this false view of prophecy is reinforced in the mind, not only of its adherents, but also includes those who have been merely exposed to the specific media. Is it possible that false prophecy can be fulfilled? The rapture theories have always been in dispute. Pre-trib, mid-trib, and post-trib disputes have risen up in exclusively evangelical circles of recent history, so that when true believers don't suddenly disappear, this element will easily go by the wayside when all see a new Jewish temple begin to be built. Will this be part of the great delusion that will come upon the whole earth? It seems that this great prophetic delusion has already overcome practically the entire American evangelical and Christian world. Get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. To learn more, visit crosstheborder.org. That's CROSS, crosstheborder.org.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. And as we said, we asked Bill to be patient. So we're going to go straight to Bill in Colorado. Bill, how are you today?
And good morning, ladies. How are you today?
Just fine. Thank you, Bill.
I'm sure you both ladies have heard the term Army brat. Well, I was not an Army brat. I was a Sears brat. My father was a buyer for Sears Roebuck when I was born in New Mexico many years ago. And he subsequently, of course, he was on the ladder. So I went to elementary school in 3 different states. I started in Shawnee, Oklahoma, where apparently they either didn't have Boy Scouting or they never found it anyway. I was an Indian guide when I was in first or second grade in Oklahoma and Shawnee. And then my father, of course, got back on the ladder and moved me to Springfield, Missouri, where I don't think I was anything at all. I was there for probably a couple of years, and then they moved me on to Manhattan, Kansas, where again I was nothing at all. And then the next thing I remember doing is I got to Denver, because my father had been promoted to store manager in Manhattan, and he decided he wanted to move to Denver and take advantage of the fact that my grandparents had a house that was freely available for us to move into. So I wound up in Denver for the rest of my growing years. And here, I don't remember where it was or how it was, but I do remember a very short, brief bump with the Boy Scouts here. So I wasn't in it very long, but I was in it when I was in later year of junior high school. Now then, as to Boy Scouts, of course, now I'm hearing you say you can pick which from the 2 genders. Well, but ladies, there are 24 genders. So how are you going to deal with some poor kid that's scrambled with trying to figure out which of the 2 genders he is when he's being offered the opportunity to become one of 24 genders? Then there's the problem with the Girl Scouts. the Girl Scouts at the same time that the Boy Scouts have gone co-ed, apparently, the Girl Scouts have gone pro-choice. And this led me to really, it made me sad, but I really had to refuse the last sales attempt that was made on me by a Girl Scout to buy Girl Scout cookies, because I just looked at her and I just, as soon as she came up to me, I asked to speak to her, to her mom or whoever was in charge there. And when I got to her, I asked her, okay, last thing I heard, the Girl Scouts were pro-choice. Is this particular troop pro-choice? And I got a deer in headlights look from her. Like, she didn't know. This was in Cody, Wyoming. So you just think in Cody, Wyoming, which is a pretty conservative place, we carried Trump with the highest percentage of any county in the United States. Okay, so that's pretty conservative. This gal didn't know whether they were pro-choice or not on the local troop level. So I basically told her, well, assuming that is true, and knowing full well that the Girl Scouts on the national level are pro-choice, I couldn't support anybody who was in favor of killing babies. Well, that kind of stunned her, but she said she'd made sure to go and find out so that next time somebody asked her, she would know. Subsequently, I went back and checked with her, and she still didn't know. So I figure, well, they probably don't want to know because of the fact that the ethos of the Girl Scout cookie is so thoroughly buried in the American way that nobody seems to ask if they are Americans and pro-life or whatever they are and pro-choice. So that's something that you hadn't mentioned anything about the pro-choice Girl Scouts, so I thought I'd bring that up so you can throw that into the stew. I do have a question, though. Beth has been running an ad talking about not whether you buy gold and silver, but whether you buy gold and silver before it's too late. And I would like to know, what is too late?
Before it's too late is before you can't get it and the price is beyond your range. But I really do believe, I believe what's going to happen is we're going to wake up one day to a whole different world. I believe things will happen it's going to happen overnight. People used to go to the bond markets in order for that would be the first rush when there was any sort of economic event. People would go to the bonds and for their safety and their security. Well, the problem is now that sector, that's the bubble. And so where are they going to go to? They're going to go to gold, as they always do. Gold is not going to go away. And you're going to have this mass rush of people going into gold. Product is going to be limited. That means the price is going to skyrocket. So when you say it's before it's too late, it's really meaning before you can't get it, before we wake up that one day and, the world has changed and the prices are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. However, if prices are $5,000 or $6,000 and you still have $100,000 that's losing value by the seconds, you'll still be paying those premiums at $5,000 and $6,000 gold. So,
well, I started buying gold and silver in the mid-'80s in Denver, and what I would do is when I'd get a paycheck, I'd pay all my bills. I'd put away enough money to make it to the next paycheck, and then everything else got spent on gold and silver. At that time, I think gold was about $250 an ounce. I seem to remember silver was about $5. I haven't bought much gold and silver in the last several years simply because of the fact that my income has been rather ratty the last several years. And the last time I did buy silver, I think it was $43. And I bought a lot of it at that price because I was seriously working back in those days. And I would go down every time somebody gave me a paycheck, and my paychecks ran about, I was getting a weekly paycheck, and my paychecks were running somewhere in the neighborhood of $800 clear a week. So I would go down to the local gold and silver dealer. At that time it was in Sheridan, Wyoming. And he's the only one. And I would buy a tube of silver eagles from him every week. at $43. I think it might have been more like $48. I know it was 40-something. Mm-hmm. But basically, I'm kind of still burned. Because silver did a major correction, and I'm waiting. I'm quite frankly, because of the fact that I really don't have the income anymore at this point. Now I'm living on $952 a month in Social Security because I'm essentially unemployable, like a lot of people are. I'm too old for anybody to hire. Mm-hmm. And so consequently, I'm going back to snowbirding. You probably remember me as Bill in Wyoming. I'm Bill in Denver now, and I'll be Bill in El Paso, Texas, in a couple of weeks.
Alrighty.
I'm going down, and I'm going to wind up in Arizona.
Bill gets around.
Yeah, you get around.
Well, yeah, I get around because of the fact that my home gets around. I live in a van. I've lived in a van since the mid-'80s. So it's one of those things where I've always been mobile. Can't explain why. It's just something that I started doing back in the mid-'80s and never stopped doing.
Alrighty.
But that's...
with all the moving you did as a kid, that probably isn't that tough on you since you've done that all your life. We're going to let you go so we can get on to some other topics. Appreciate the call, Bill.
Oh, I think he's.
I think we lost him. Okay.
A lot of people bought silver at higher prices, and they even gold. When gold was running $1,600, $1,700, $1,800, you had some of the pre-1933 coins. I mean, they were trading, $2,000 when gold was $1,600. Some of those coins in the lower end were trading for, $2,300, $2,400. Some of the higher end coins were selling for $5,000. And yeah, we've had pullbacks. But if you look to the fundamentals of what they should be, and I really do try to, I can't advise people, but when prices get higher, I do look for the best value. And, when you get up to, $40 silver, $43 silver, sometimes you don't want to buy that one product that you've been buying all the time only because those premiums are so high. You still kind of have to balance premiums versus how much gold you get for your funds and what type of product is going to best serve you. What really is suitable for you at these times. And when silver was getting up to some of those higher levels, the $40, $50 a couple of years ago, sometimes it was better to buy gold. And people say, well, yeah, but you got more silver for your money than gold, because gold then at that time was trading at $1,800, $1,900. Yeah, but gold didn't correct as much percentage-wise. And I get that's why people buy silver sometimes, is because they want that percentage gain. They speculate. So the point we try to do at Discount is always try to bring the product, the value, to the suitability of each person. It isn't, there's only a certain amount of products you can buy and so forth, but still it really is a suitability. Which coin best suits you and your objective, why you're buying gold and silver. Are you buying to preserve your wealth? You're converting your pensions, your 401s, your IRAs, you're converting that into gold, or are you just looking for something to barter? Because everybody is different. Everybody has different budgets. Everybody has different savings. And but the key thing is you get out of those fiat dollars. That's the key. Because and Bill agreed, we're going to wake up one day to a brand new world. It's going to happen very quick. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, I remember listening to Melanie and Beth, and they were telling me the same thing, and I didn't heed the warnings. And so don't get caught there. As long as we have a fiat currency, folks, there's only one way for gold to go, and that's higher. Can I guarantee it? No. But the fundamentals are there, and when you look at the fundamentals of the paper markets, they certainly have more downside risk than any upside potential, where gold is the opposite, and silver. You have more upside potential based on the fundamentals. And the fundamentals is what tells you the truth. You can get a lot of guys out there pitching product. You can get a lot of guys out there sending you emails where you get, pages and pages of, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. But always check the fundamentals, and do they make sense? And lots of times they don't. So I didn't mean to go off on giving a little bit of, but I may as well give my special
That's
now,
okay.
Beth,
No.
while we're here.
That's okay. I was going to say, I was kind of, oh, yeah, do that. Give your special.
I ran this on my late program yesterday afternoon, and these are pre-1933 $10 Liberty gold pieces. Now, the $10 Liberty gold pieces, if you purchase 2 of them, it equals the same amount of gold that's in the larger gold piece, the $20 Liberty gold coin. So everybody knows, or most everybody knows, the smaller you go in the size of your gold, the more you're going to pay. So if you purchase 2 of the Mint State 62 $10 gold pieces, they would usually sell for a greater price than 120. It's the same amount of gold. 2 half ounces versus 1 ounce. So they're just shy of an ounce. They're not full ounces like your modern issue coins. Mm-hmm. So anytime those fractional pieces sell for less than those $20 gold pieces, if you purchase 2 of them, it's the time to buy. Because normally, historically, they always sell for more. This is one of the values that I talk about. So purchase Mint State 62 $10 Liberty gold pieces for $695. If you purchase 2 of them, we'll include the shipping for you. So that is a cheaper price. If you purchased 2 of them, that is a lower price than what you would pay for a $20 Liberty gold piece. It's the time to buy them for a great deal. $695, and just give the gals at the office a call at 1-800-375-4188. And they're beautiful coins. These are pre-33 coins. They're protected by confiscation. They perform very well, and they provide a privacy that your modern issue coins do not. So give us a call at 1-800-375-4188.
Now, I'm ignorant, so I've got to ask the question. That's 1 coin for $6.95, or is that 2 coins for $6.95?
It's 1 coin.
That's what I thought. It was
yes.
1 coin. Okay.
Yeah,
and if they buy 2, then you throw in the shipping.
That
okay.
is correct. It would come to $1,390. Yes, for 2 of them. Mm-hmm.
I'm writing it down.
Thank you.
So I remember. I always try to write them down because it's kind of it's new to my world, because I have some gold and silver, but I don't have a lot, and so I have to I listen to you. I do listen, so need to follow that a little bit closer than I do, and I appreciate all that you do, because I know you're into that. You're following that. It's your business, and it is what we need to do, folks. We need to let's see. Silver is the checking. Gold is your savings, and we need to be prepared. We talked about the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts. You need to be prepared.
And we talk about, we hear all about these tax credits. I'd like to have my taxes cut as much as the next guy, but I don't believe that the funds are there in order to have the tax cuts. And I don't think we're at a point in time where the tax cuts is going to help those that really need the help. And and maybe I'll bring some info about some of these tax cuts in future programs. But the House, and we have too much debt.
Yes. We
have too much debt, and the House is poised today over the fierce objections of the conservatives to pass a $36.5 billion emergency package to help states and U.S. territories ravaged by these hurricanes and wildfires. And my heart goes out to these people. But you have a lot of the conservative lawmakers. There's one guy from Gary Palmer from Alabama, Republican. He says, going forward, we're going to have more natural disasters, and we need to rethink how to pay for these things. We need to pay for them as work is done and not just write a blank check. When you just throw out a pile of money, it's open to abuse. Well, that's kind of funny, because it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black, right?
Oh, gosh, yes. Yes.
But the White House last week had requested $29 billion. And called this week for an additional $5 billion to help Puerto Rico's government. That means we're paying their debts. That means they won't be defaulting yet. And there's even an extra $1 billion for the emergency relief in the wake of the California fires. So,
somebody made a comment last week about the Puerto Rico being ravaged as it has been by the hurricane, and if they do certain things like what you just mentioned, paying off the debt or whatever the case may be, that it might. They emphasized might, and I'm thinking it probably will. It will open up the entrepreneurship. People will come in and they'll buy property and they'll start building or doing something on the property, and its worth will go up rapidly. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's what it's all about anyway, so that these entrepreneurs have something that they can go in and buy cheap and sell big,
Yeah, I thought, that's why if you want some cheap property, go to Puerto Rico.
Should we go out? Should we
at least buy the property?
Property?
Because they're going to have a brand new electrical system. So the next hurricane,
everything.
They're going to have a new grid and everything. So the next time the hurricane goes through, they probably won't lose power. They'll probably put it all underground. They should. But again, who's going to pay for it? Taxpayers of the United States are going to pay for it. And, I get we're here to help, but are we paying for helping insurance companies? Are we helping? How much do these states are supposed to be paying? But the states are broke because they can't. Their pension funds are underfunded. So how can they? Even Texas, in the Dallas area, I mean, their pensions are so broke, and they're not going to let them fail yet. The states have no money to help when they have disasters. So and you kind of get mixed feelings because you sound like a terrible person. It's like, well, no, they really shouldn't approve these funds and so forth. But people are hurting, and they've been devastated. They've had family members that are, look at those pictures in California with the
the thing is, like when I had my fire, and it's an individual, the community came together. But here the whole community is on fire. I mean, how many counties? I think they said it encompasses 3 counties. Mm-hmm. And it's and what we were talking about Puerto Rico, what are we going to get out of that if we eat up their debt, we pay off their bills. What are we going to get out of it? And I know that sounds kind of callous, but, we're investing in it. That's not just, they can't rebuild with the debt that they have. Well, neither can we. I mean, look what's hit in Texas. Look what hit Louisiana, what hit in Florida. I mean, what are we going to do? Here in the U.S. on the mainland, what are we going to do? We have to, to say, what are we going to get out of it? That sounds kind of callous, but if we're paying off Puerto Rico's debt, And
they're talking about $36 billion now. Folks, we're going to be $200 billion before it's all over, if not more.
And so, I had a little story here, if I can find it real quickly. I had these all sorted, and then I resorted them. But it just came in as we were going on the air, and it was, they said it was breaking news, and I wasn't sure that it was really, here it is. But the FBI reviews allegations of Puerto Rico, their officials withholding hurricane relief. So apparently they've been getting this relief, and the officials have been holding back on it. It says the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Puerto Rico received multiple allegations from residents across the island who say local officials in the territory have withheld needed FEMA supplies. People call us and tell us some misappropriation of some goods and supplies by supposedly politicians, not necessarily mayors, but people that work for the mayors in certain towns. And the FBI agent is Carlos Osorio, told this to this is coming from the Daily Caller, and I received it this morning. I get these notifications on email and on other things and it just flashed up that it was breaking news. I don't know if it's really breaking news. Nothing has happened yet, other than they're going to ramp up some investigation to see what's been going on with the assistance to these mayors who have been withholding supplies that have come in from FEMA for the citizens there of Puerto Rico. And that's really sad. It kind of reminded me of Hillary Clinton's Clinton Foundation in Haiti when they didn't do what they said they were going to do with that money for the Haitians. And it's beyond corrupt when somebody does that. It's beyond corrupt. And I have no sympathy for someone like that. I just think they ought to have some severe punishments. I guess I shouldn't say they ought to hang them. That's what I usually say. Just hang them.
That's what I used to say.
You just want to hang everybody, don't you? And I go, yeah, lately I do.
That's what I used to say.
And speaking of hanging, I sent to you an article just as it came in. It was supposed to be breaking news too, and it was talking about Donald Trump. President Donald Trump wants to increase the nuclear what do you call it? Nuclear warheads or whatever here in the United States, our weapons by tenfold. He wants to just double, 10 times bigger, and then. Immediately, I got the second one. I mean, immediately that it was totally fake news, that wasn't true. The president didn't say that, and it was coming from NBC. And to me, Melody, we kind of chuckle because we don't believe in this media anymore. But this one fake news here, and several others have been too, but this is of national security. And I want to talk about that just a little bit. I hear the music. We don't have to dwell on the nuke. I call it the fake nuke news. But to me, it's huge. Huge. It's not just at President Donald Trump, but this is something that could be considered it's bad for national security that they're doing these things. We're going into a break. Your calls are welcome at 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. And Melody and Beth Ann will be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased. It has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on Internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the Internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
That's different.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. And again, we'll want to emphasize that this show is completely 100% sponsored by Discount Gold and Silver Trading, which is Melody Cedarstrom. And we want you to use Discount Gold and Silver Trading. Go to their website by dgscoins.com. That's real simple. dgscoins.com, and give them a call at 1-800-375-4188. Ask for today's special with the Liberty Gold pieces, and that's, again, it's 1-800-375-4188. Now back on, I won't stay on this very long, but immediately after I got that he wanted to increase that tenfold, it came out, and from the same source, which was the Daily Caller. I also have something from Newsmax on it. And of course, Trump gets frustrated because they do this stuff all the time. They either make it up completely, which is what I believe they did with this, or they mess with his words. And they just cannot seem to get over the fact that Donald Trump won and Hillary Clinton lost. And so they're doing everything they can to obstruct and to demean, and ridicule the President of the United States, which I'm okay if they don't like him. That's one thing, but let's get some news straight. This particular instance, I think, is dangerous because they're messing with, here we are, and they're claiming he's causing a war. Here we are on the brink of a war, of something happening with North Korea, and NBC puts out this fake news that Trump wants to increase our nuclear war capacity by tenfold. I think that's what it was. I couldn't find my original one. I know it's here in my paper piles. And I'm thinking, and he immediately comes out with this as fake news. And it was serious enough that General Mattis came out, Mad Dog Mattis, and said this is completely fake. The president did not say this. And, this is national security they're messing with. Just their rhetoric. It's serious. And it infuriates me. Like I said, I just want to hang people. I was telling Melody I think that was during commercial. I said that's my coined phrase. We just need to hang them. This is national security. The things that they're saying and doing against our my phone's talking to me, against our president is of national security now, and it's against the people of the United States, we the people. And I think it has been serious for a long time, but this is getting terribly serious. And of course they're really upset with Donald Trump because he said it's getting bad enough that perhaps we should check into their license. Well, I don't think they can. But he did mention that it was the fake news, made up a story that I wanted a tenfold increase in our U.S. nuclear arsenal. Pure fiction, made up. It's to demean me. Anyway, Mattis came out with discrediting it and talking about that as well. But I can't find where he said maybe we should check into their license. There it is. With all the fake news coming out of NBC and the networks, at what point is it appropriate to challenge their license? It's bad for the country. And I think the American people do need to challenge them. Now, I would think that they're losing people watching the news. I don't turn them on anymore. I don't even want to listen to them. Sometimes, you and I talked before, sometimes you have to listen to them because you got to know what the enemy's doing. They shouldn't be an enemy. That's the whole thing. Now, I get frustrated with Fox. I watch them all night, too, and I get frustrated with them as well. But it's, all we hear is noise. What about this? What about our economy? I know we're hearing about the tax reform and cutting taxes and this, that, but let's get serious about some things. And they're not. I have an article here. Do you know who, let's see, he's out of Nebraska. What is his name? Sass is the last name. Ben Sass, I think it is. Here it is. He's out of Nebraska. He's a Senator Ben Sass. Now, I don't know if you've talked much about COOL, the country of origin labeling. It was there to protect the consumers as well as the ranchers and the farmers, the producers, the livestock producers, so that you knew where your beef was coming from. You knew where your meat was coming from. Well, Nebraska is a pretty big beef state. So their illustrious senator, who claims to be constitutional, he had no problem campaigning and repealing COOL. But he would not repeal Obamacare. And here he is. He's upset. He doesn't like the president. He's one of those rhinos that is attacking the president constantly. And he's asking Mr. President if he's recanting his constitutional oath. You know, I've about had it with these D.C. occupiers and the senators and the representatives that are upset with the American people for putting Donald Trump in there as president over Hillary Clinton. In my opinion, we really didn't have a choice. We know what Hillary Clinton is. But this is over this comment that he made about the license. And, of course, Sass is saying that's freedom of speech. And that President Trump's against freedom of speech. That's me paraphrasing what he's saying here. And it's absolutely ridiculous that he would say this. And, you know, he's about as unconstitutional as they come. And he certainly isn't representing the people of Nebraska with that COOL bill when he repealed that. They took money for that, just so everybody knows. The D.C. occupiers, that's why they didn't want to mess with trade, and it's why they don't want to mess with immigration, because they are making deals and bringing in the foreign beef that doesn't have the restrictions or the safety guidelines and everything with the beef and livestock here in the United States. They're okay with that. They're okay with that. So is the USDA. And USDA is Uncle Sam destroying agriculture, for those who don't know that. So, we thought it was going to turn around, but I'm not sure that the USDA is turning around yet. I need to get a hold of some people and see what's happening there. But the two-face of these people, it just never ceases to amaze me and sicken me, Melody.
I know. And, you know, I don't even know what to say anymore. And,
yeah, it is. I mean, what can you say?
You know, because I get it. I mean, good heavens, it was the same thing, you know, when Obama, I mean, this country is so split and divided, divide and conquer, and they have succeeded in doing that. And, you know, you have to, you know, think about, I mean, do people just really, well, gee, what kind of story do we want to make up today? Or is something leaked from someone, and which, you know, the someone like at NBC thinks that they're a credible source, and they go with the story. I'm sure they embellish. All stories are embellished.
Oh, of course
and
they are.
So, but why doesn't anybody ever get to the beginning instead of just claiming names? Oh, so and so made this up. Well, where did it start? Or did they just sit there and have a round table and say, hey, well, let's pick up, how about the arsenal? Let's say this is the U.S. And I'll tell you what, there was one guy, I talked about him on the other program, he died, and he was known for fake news. He did sit and create
yes, you talked about him here, too.
Did I talk about him here?
Yeah,
So how many of those people are actually out there? Because they're very credible. You know, you read these stories, and I hear a lot of these stories that are promoted on alternative radio and alternative news sites and stuff like that, and it's just like, what, are you kidding me? I mean, but nobody does a research on where it comes from. Mr. Trump.
How can you anymore?
I mean, seriously. Because of and you know what? is this the beginning of to where they actually do begin to, like Twitter? Will they begin to have restrictions and monitor these stories? I mean, this is the beginning of it, because nobody
shouldn't they tell the truth, though? If they're a
Some
news
people might think it is the truth.
Well,
and you're right. They should have their sources readily.
We should have started this conversation earlier, because there's so much to say about this.
It is. It is disgusting, and it is wrong. But what do we do about it?
Well, and I was going to say, we don't even know what sources to trust anymore.
No, we don't.
We're ending for today, not going into a break.
Except financial survival.
We thank all of you for being here with us. Thank you, Melody.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.